In this video, we're going to talk about how to solve exponential statements on paper, how to solve them with a basic calculator, and how to solve them with a scientific or graphing calculator. Writing a repeated multiplication statement in exponential form saves time when you are going to be using a calculator, and it saves time with writing, because it's easier to write 4 to the 4th than to write 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. But when you're actually going to solve it, when you're going to calculate what it is, you need to write it out in expanded form when you're doing it on paper. So we've got 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. 4 is our base, and then we have an exponent of 4, so we're going to multiply that 4 times. So first we do 4 times 4, and we get 16. And then we bring down the next 4. And then we calculate 16 times 4 to the side. And then we bring down our last 4. And again, we calculate 64 times 4 on the side. Four to the 4th equals 256. Because multiplication is associative, we could calculate 4 to the 4th a different way. So first we write 4 to the 4th power in expanded form. Then we could multiply these two together and get 16, and then we could multiply these two factors together and get 16, and then multiply 16 times 16. Again, we would do that over to the side. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. 6 times 1 is 6, and 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so we get 256. You get the same answer because multiplication is associative, so you could multiply them in any order. It's also important to note that you might not always know what your base is. So instead of having a numerical base, let's say we have a variable for our base, like x. Let's say we have x to the 5th. Well, we might not be able to completely solve it, but we can write it in expanded form. So that would be x times x times x times x times x. And then you could group the factors together and multiply it in any order you want, because multiplication is associative. Okay, why don't you give it a try? Pause the video and calculate these out on paper, and then come back to the video and we'll check your answer. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do for our first exponential statement here, it's 3 to the 5th, or 3 raised to the 5th power. The first thing you're going to do is write it in expanded form. So we've got 3 as our base, and then multiplied 5 times because we have a 5 for our exponent. And then you can group these in any way. I'm going to group the first two. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. And then multiply that by our last 3. And then I'm going to multiply 9 and 9 to make 81. And then multiply that by 3. And I'll do that over to the side. If you didn't do that in the same order as I did, it's perfectly fine, as long as we get the same answer in the end. Okay, so 243. 3 raised to the 5th power is 243. For our second exponential statement here, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to fit it all right there, so I'm going to start writing underneath. X raised to the 8th power equals x times 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 x. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So x is our base, and we're going to multiply that repeatedly 8 times because 8 is our exponent. So, how could we use a basic calculator to solve an exponential statement? Well, first we're still going to need to write out the exponential statement in expanded form. So here we have 6 to the 9th power, or 6 to the 9th. So we're going to write that as 6 times 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 6. So 6 is our base. That's what we're going to be repeating. That's the factor we'll be repeating. And we have it 9 times. Our exponent's 9, so we write it out 9 times. So because multiplication is associative, you can combine any of these factors. I'm going to go ahead and combine 6 times 6. And then 36 again here. 36 here. These two factors also make 36, and then multiply it by our last 6. And these are all multiplied together. Now we can use our calculator. Instead of writing 36 times 36 to the side, we're going to be able to save time by doing it on the calculator. 1,296. And then we know the next two 36's multiplied together will also give us 1,296. And then we have 1 6 left. So we put multiplied by 6 at the end. Now we can multiply 1,296 by 1,296. Whoa. All right. We get 1,679,616 multiplied by 6. And this is part of why, even if you have a calculator, you still want to write it out, because it's easy to forget that you still needed to multiply all that by 6. Whoa. Okay. Our final answer is 10,077,696. So 6 to the 9th equals 10,077,696. And the calculator definitely saved us time. Okay, so what if you have a scientific calculator or a graphing calculator and you want to solve an exponential statement? Well, it's going to be a lot easier because you have these buttons right here. These are the exponent buttons. So instead of having to multiply everything out, you're going to get to use these buttons. So this one right here says x to the second, or x squared. So what that means is you're going to type in a base, a number, and then click this button, and the calculator will square it for you. You can type in any base. And for this one, it says x to the third. So you can type in any base, and then press this button, and it will cube it for you. Okay, so let's try one. 3 to the 9th. We're going to type in 3, and then come over and press our x to the y button. And now we can type in any exponent we want. So x to the y means base first, then x to the y button, then the exponent. And we'll press 9, equal, and the calculator finds that 3 to the 9th is 19,683. Okay, let's try another one. 7 to the 7th. 7 raised to the 7th power. equals. Okay, so we clear our calculator and then we press our base. Then we press the x to the y button, and then we press our exponent. And we get 823,543. Okay, now you try one. Let's do 5 to the 10th. So pause this video and type that into your scientific or graphing calculator and see what you get. All right, so we're going to press our base first, and then our x to the y button, and then our exponent, which is 10, equals. Okay, so that's 9,765,625.